one of the best books to explain this conflict between a works-based religion and a religion based on faith in the completed work of Christ is the little book Steps to Christ. I know you've read it. You must tell me your story about when you read it, and I'll tell you mine.
I did postgraduate studies on Christology, reading all these authors. Walter, I was so depressed.
Which authors? Worldly authors?
Well, I won't mention some of the famous names.
Oh, so the theologians of the world.
Yeah. I was depressed. I was confused. And then I received a call to do some camp meeting appointments. And all I took with me is not some of these books. I took Steps to Christ. I've read it before, and then I read it again. And Walter, suddenly, the penny dropped. She defines salvation by grace. She defines justification by faith in such a beautiful way. I was uplifted. I was energized by the wonderful message of justification by faith. Walter, I recommend this book.
You recommend it?
Anyone who wants to know how one gets saved.
Now, Francois, this book is not a very thick book. It's a thin little book. You can read it with, it doesn't take too much time to read it. When I came out of the world, I was an atheist, of course, and I was raised Catholic, and then I became an Adventist Protestant, and I took this little book called Steps to Christ, and I read it from cover to cover, and I understood absolutely nothing.
What?
Nothing.
What do you tell me?
I could not understand this book. And it's got nothing to do with the words, because the words are pretty clear. There was something I did not comprehend. I put the book away. And then I carried on with my Christian activity and whatever, and I took the book again and I read it again. It didn't make sense to me. I put it away again. And it is much, much later, after wrestling through these issues, wrestling through these issues, and finally reading everything that I could get hold of that Martin Luther wrote on the issue of justification, and when the great battle between Christ and Satan crystallized in my mind so that I could see what is this great contrast and what is the battle all about, then I took this book again and I read it, and it was the most precious thing I'd ever read in my life. It blew me away.
I had the same experience. It only took on some meaning after I was confused by the great scholars on Christology.
And this book unconfused me when it came to, am I saved through my works? Am I saved by grace? How am I justified? How am I sanctified? How does this all fit together? And here was the solution. And you know what this book made me? It made me a Protestant. It is so in harmony with what the Reformers wrote, with what Martin Luther in particular wrote. But it takes it to a level which just transcends anything of that nature. And then you take the Bible, and all of a sudden these dichotomies in the Bible become so crystal clear. And this to me is why I will recommend that people take the writings of Ellen G. White, not to become Ellen G. Whiteists, but to become Bible-oriented believers.
To see where the lesser light will lead them.
When I look at the world today, Francois, and I look what is being taught in so many denominations, how they take the book of Romans and how they find in the book of Romans that the law has been done away with. And how they take that same book of Romans to find the exact opposite theology. And how some of them take that same book of Romans to become whatever, or reject the book of Romans completely, or reject Paul completely, like many in the Israelite movement do. And how you can take one book and have so many theologies come out of it that you would not know which way to turn amidst that Babylonian confusion. And here is a book which just, in a crystal clear fashion, tells you what the plan of salvation is all about.
Read it for us, Walter.